2020 will go down as one for the history books. The first reports of a mysterious virus quickly turned into a pandemic, global shutdown, and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. And yet, by the end of the year, markets had recovered beyond expectations. Every economic downturn in history has led to an upturn, and this time was no different, except perhaps the speed at which the drop and rebound occurred. The S&P 500 closed at the end of 2020 with a record high, returning 16.3% for the year, and the S&P, the TSX, 2.2%. Hi, my name is Darius Muika. I'm a senior investment advisor with Noor Private Wealth. If you are new to my channel, I focus on helping clients build wealth in the most tax-efficient way possible. So let's jump right in. For investors, the best opportunity typically occurs when equities fall 30% or more from their peaks, and this proved true again last year. While that ideal bottom of the market investment opportunity has passed, our team is still optimistic about the year ahead. There's reason to believe that the economic environment in Canada, the US, and internationally will be much improved from 2020. 2020 was indeed a year a lot of us never saw coming, from incessant Zoom calls to binge-watching Netflix. For those with kids, some superpowers were born, managing work and little humans running around. In the midst of all the chaos and uncertainties, one thing has quietly had one of its best years ever, and that's science. The major upheaval in the economy and financial markets due to the pandemic definitely caused some distractions, but here's a peek into the monumental moments you and many others may have missed or shoved to the sidelines. Solar power costs have plummeted dramatically, and for the first time ever, falling below the cost of fossil fuels. The rapid drop in the price of solar energy has seen an exponential learning by doing curve far exceeding projections that experts made. In fact, current costs of energy were expected to be reached only in 2035 according to some experts. This is particularly important because renewable energy now makes sense not only from an environmental perspective, but also an economical one. It gets better. Scientists came up with breakthrough inventions to reverse aging and vision. They have been able to achieve these groundbreaking interventions by injecting genetically modified cells into optic nerves. Even more incredible is how they did it. Imagine actually causing optic cells to become younger. That's amazing. Speaking of biological modifications, protein folding, the biggest problem in molecular biology, has just been solved by an AI, artificial intelligence program, making this a double breakthrough. I won't pretend I totally understand the protein folding thing, but top biologists in the field are saying things like, it's possibly the biggest scientific breakthrough of my lifetime, and I was beginning to think I wouldn't live to see it. Apparently, it will bring huge advances in genetics, pharmacology, and medicine. Also exciting is the news about the development of the first ever photon-based quantum computer by a team of researchers in China. The invention is allegedly 100 trillion times faster than the most powerful conventional supercomputers and is able to complete calculations in seconds that would take other computers 2 billion years. These quantum computers are expected to revolutionize the way information is stored, especially in this era of big data. Google, IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, and Intel are also working on their own versions of quantum computers. Now let's talk about SpaceX. So what about it? Sometime in May, SpaceX sent its first manned rocket to space and is now able to send humans to space for roughly $62 million per flight. To put that into perspective, NASA's old space shuttle missions used to cost approximately $1.5 billion per flight. That's a 96% drop in the cost of spaceflight in less than 20 years. By continuing to drive down the cost of space travel, SpaceX will make entire new industries possible, from space tourism, space logistics, space mining, and so on. Elon Musk talks a lot about Mars, but flying from New York to Sydney in less than 90 minutes and through space sounds way cooler to me. Finally, back to the subject of the global pandemic, there has been tremendous efforts to develop several effective vaccines, and we must acknowledge the success of the endeavors by pharmaceutical and medical practitioners. This is quite evident in the timeline by which the vaccines for COVID-19 were developed. For example, the Moderna vaccine was created in an impressive time period, and their trial results were stellar. On January 11th, Chinese scientists posted the genome for COVID-19 online for the world to begin working on it. By February 5th, Moderna had created the first batch of its vaccine. By February 24th, it had initiated its phase 1 trial. To put that into perspective, there were still fewer than 50 confirmed cases in the US when Moderna had already completed its vaccine and began testing it. Incredible. I mean, it is quite obvious that science solves the scarcities that drive human conflict. It is the crowdsourced wisdom of science that creates the basis for greater freedom, creativity, and health. It is science that generates most of our wealth and comforts. We tend to give great people the credit for historical progress. This is because our brains are primed to think in terms of people and stories. But I would argue that it is the scientific efforts of thousands of anonymous men and women that consistently saves us from ourselves. That's it for today's video. I hope you found it valuable, and if you haven't done that already, make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. I read and reply to every single one. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.